We finally have all the next-gen console launch details. It is the day we have been waiting for a long time. We finally have all of the next generation console launch details and pricing. Sony held their event today, and let's just dive in, shall we? So Sony came out and announced their next generation console, PS5, is coming at $499 on the top end. That is for the version that is going to include a disc drive. Now, obviously, there is a lower price version that is not going to include one that is surprisingly, candidly, is coming in at $399. Sony is making a $100 price difference between the digital and non-digital version, and so that is a pretty big deal, honestly. I'm quite surprised that Sony was able to cut the price that much, but it is an aggressive entry for the next generation console from Sony, so that's going to be a big deal. Now, lining them all up, you have $299 for Microsoft's Xbox Series S. Then you have the PlayStation 5 all digital at $399, and then you have the top end Series X and the PlayStation with a disc drive for $499. And so that is going to skew out the pricing. Now, PlayStation 5 availability is going to be November 12th in the US, Japan, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and South Korea. And then on the 19th, it'll be available in many more countries. Microsoft is launching theirs on November 10th, so it is going to be a solid week of next-gen gaming news in the middle of November. The question is, which one's going to sell better? Which is the better value? Well, that's completely up to you. Trying to decide, are you a PlayStation person? Then pretty much, obviously, you're going to go to the PlayStation side. If you're on the Microsoft side, you're more than likely, obviously, going to consider an Xbox. That's pretty obvious. The big question is, for people who don't have either device, which one are they going to enter the market into? And that's honestly an interesting question, because clearly Sony has a lot of good titles in their portfolio. There's no denying that. But Microsoft is coming out with an extreme value at $299 plus Game Pass Ultimate at $15 a month gets you an incredible value. So if you're looking from a pure value perspective, from a day one, just play games perspective, I think Microsoft has a pretty good competitive advantage. Sony clearly has an advantage. They showed off a lot of good games today. And it's going to be interesting to see how these two consoles, or two companies, I should say, because we've actually got 4 next-gen consoles launching. And that is going to be an interesting little look at how these two shake out. Now, there was some news earlier this week that PlayStation had cut pre-orders or manufacturing, and then they denied that, so there's not a whole lot of information we can go off of there. And obviously, if you want either of these consoles, you're gonna need to pre-order them, because I can almost guarantee that everything is gonna be sold out if you try to pick one of these things up around the Christmas time. That's just the nature of these consoles. When they launch, they are always in high demand. So you got $299 and $499 on the Microsoft side, $399 and $499 on the PlayStation side. You've got Game Pass Ultimate. Sony also announced some updates to their Plus service, including additional titles. So it's going to be a good next generation kind of fight. Clearly, Microsoft has the power advantage. There's no doubt about it. If you compare the $499 Xbox Series X to the $499 PlayStation 5, Microsoft is significantly ahead in terms of power. And so what we really need to see here, and this is the biggest unknown, is how do these next gen games play at 4K? We know that Microsoft should be more powerful and have a higher frame rate and could look better than what PlayStation is offering, but until these consoles are in the hands of deep technical reviews, we're still kind of, the verdict is still out. So that is something that we need to be looking for. But this is good news. Today is a good news day for gamers, regardless if you're on the Sony side or the Xbox side or Nintendo side or Sega side. It doesn't matter. Maybe we've all, got our Sega Genesis in our back pockets, and that's what we're hoping or waiting for. But either way, this is good news. Microsoft and Sony have finally played their cards. We're going to see how these two consoles shake out. Both have laid out everything that you need to realistically know. Now we're going to be waiting for some more technical information, I think, as we start to see gameplay and all that stuff floating around for the next, 6-ish weeks or so. But until then, keep it locked here, hit that subscribe, and we'll keep you updated as things come along.